What should I sell to the U.S. federal government with my government contracting business? This is a question that gets asked all the time, and it certainly is a certain question that, as we're going to dive into, the answer is not on the level of the question. And now I do have an answer on the other side of this page here that I'm going to give you to what I think you should sell to the government, especially if you're new in government contracting. However, the answer, once again, it's the result of going through a process. So just taking it at face value to begin, what should I sell? The answer that wants to come up, or almost, when people are asking this question, dropping it in the comments, sending emails, where this answer is coming from is it's like the person's wanting, the business owner is wanting somebody to say, hey, you should get into janitorial because blank, because there's a lot of opportunities, right? Or you should get into environmental because the margins are great. Or, you should get into local construction. And even if you don't know anything about construction, it's fine because you can be a GC and there's so many different trades, so many different angles to get into it. And you can just get light construction where you don't have to do a lot of bonding, et cetera, et cetera. That's the answer that initially is coming up, right? Maybe there's some heads that are nodding, hopefully. And like, Derek, what should I sell? We have to go deeper to get the real and the right answer to this question. Some of the assumptions that we're making based on this question is this person isn't already selling something. I'm not being facetious, but what I mean is this is not already an established existing business, because the number one thing we hear from existing B2B businesses that are trying to add the federal government as a customer is, hey, I already sell this widget, this is our bread and butter, we've built our business on this for the last 5-10 years, this is our specialty. Now we just want to know, how do we get contracts with the government providing this thing? It's a very different world, it's a very different approach, and it's not typically the conversation that we have here on this channel. So we're making the assumption that we don't have something already to sell and we're not a brand new business. The other thing that's come up for me when I thought about this, I have some notes that I'm looking down at, is this word should. Like, what should I sell? And the should, and don't skip. I feel like you're about to, oh my God, like just no, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking on this. If you're serious about this, you have to think this through. Do not just skip to the end. If you do, it's not going to be meaningful to you, and you're going to be like, oh, that's it? Okay, maybe that makes you turned off too. That's fine. But if you're still with me, we're having a conversation here. I'm trying to walk you through this. Derek, get to the point. The word should really means trying to avoid downside and trying to maximize upside. So I'm new, I'm ready to do the work. Just put me on the right path. The path that's going to be the right path for me. As if somebody else could tell you what that path is going to be. And as if, that path can just be, handed out and distributed for every different business owner who's bringing different sets of skills and resources and strengths to their GovCon business, okay? These are all things that we have to think about. So the word should is wanting to, again, avoid downside and maximize upside. But how can we do this? Just at the very beginning of the journey, we haven't even taken our first step, or maybe getting our cage code. If we call that step one, that's fine. Although you should really be having this conversation before you even get your cage code. If you have not, I would recommend, you're watching this video, so kudos to you. But I'd really recommend spending some time on getting some clarity on this so that it's not a hurry up and wait. Meaning I'm registered, I got my cage code, now what? It's a whole other conversation that I'm deeply passionate about, but we won't get into that right now if I can help it. So like I said, the initial answer is like, oh, you just tell me what it is. Janitorial, environmental, construction, staffing, like whatever it is. But here's the thing, like there's always pros and cons to the different flavors. One flavor is not better than the other. So then it becomes more of a exercise of not looking outwards, but more of an exercise, as we could guess, as looking inwards. Because the answers really are within ourselves to this. It's a well-intentioned question, but like you don't know what you don't know. So you start with what you got. And questions like this are very often all people that are starting with, and they're just looking for somebody to throw them a bone. The big problem is people throw you the bone. People answer the question. People tell you what to do. It's why I'm making this video. And then it doesn't end up being what's right for you. And you're like, oh, geez, I just spent a year doing something, ignoring my own instincts, right? Listening to myself, because you know yourself. You're the only one who knows yourself. But this person has been doing it for 10 years and they told me to do this. So I put them and their wisdom and experience over my instincts. Your instincts are always going to win. Okay? It's just the bone, the advice, it's to be taken with a huge grain of salt. You have to apply it to yourself. Nobody knows your situation, which is why it's so important to get our answers from inside as opposed to outside. And that's only if you're really serious about this. If you're not serious about this and this is more like entertainment than education, then sure. Like we can mentally masturbate about these ideas and then actually accomplish nothing. But I don't have any time for helping you to do that. We're talking about real things, real transparent things that are going to make, real things happen in your business. If you get clarity around them and you take specific actions, okay, you're not special. You do certain things will happen. That's where the experience and wisdom comes in. But knowing what those things are and that path, you can be the only one to answer the question. So, I'm not playing possum with you, but I'm gonna give you some things here. Otherwise, I wasn't gonna make this video. My people are gonna be pissed if I don't actually give them something. So, okay, we're 6 minutes in. These are more of the intangible things. So I'm gonna ask you, these are questions that I'm gonna ask you to help guide you. Number one, how are your phone skills? Actually, first, stop. We're making a big assumption. I want to make sure that we're on the same page with this. You don't have an existing business, okay? My assumption is that, therefore, you're not looking to self-perform. So my big assumption is that you're looking to legal middleman, okay? You're working to look with subs to fulfill the work. And you're asking the question, what should I sell? Okay, so how you're going to operate and fulfill is LMM. Okay, it's not self-fulfillment. That's the big assumption. That's really important. So number one, how are your phone skills? Okay, when it comes to calling subs, calling contracting officer, contracting specialist, how are your phone skills? It's really, really important, actually. So much comes across in the phone in terms of representing your company, representing who you are. This is an ongoing negotiation. Like if you're looking for subs, even if you're asking questions to the government, a lot of that could be in writing through RFIs. But at the same time, every interaction, every occurrence you have with contracting is a representation of your business, and all these little things do add up. So I'll ask you again, how are your phone skills? Number two, how are you at managing people? How are you with having those uncomfortable conversations? How are you with saying no because it's not what's written in the statement of work or in the contract, and standing up and fighting for yourself, even if this person is in a position of power? How are you with saying no, having that uncomfortable conversation? Or, like I said, managing people, staying on top of, subcontractors, etc. How are you with managing people? Next, how resilient are you? How quick are you to bounce back and spring back when things don't come your way or go your way? Because just like anything else, we can have this perfect plan, man plan, but God laughs, okay? Things very rarely go the exact way that we think are going to. So how are you at dealing with that? How professional are you? How professional are you with representing your company? Not just in terms of, say, like a website or a capability statement, but in terms of timeliness and responsiveness and your overall demeanor, your communication skills, right? Some of this could probably go into phone skills as well, but not necessarily. How are you professionally to get folks on your side? Again, say you're trying to get a teaming partner or with contracting, how are you with your professionalism? How are you with doing homework and preparedness? Are you able to do the research? Are you able to come to the site visit prepared? Are you able to actually read through the solicitation to, say, do your bid, no bids, and actually, use your time wisely? That leads into like systems thinking. Are you a systems thinker or are you an emotional decision maker? Do you just shoot from the hip and do something different based on how you feel like it? Or are you somebody who's able to put something in place and continue to do it because you know that's the only way you're going to get better at it, by doing the same thing over and over again and making these little tweaks along the way, versus an emotional person who's constantly hitting the reset button. This is business. This is not this is not like a hobby, right? How are you at learning from your mistakes? Can you get better, or are you just going to keep, playing the numbers game? Like the gentleman who told me, I'll never forget, he bid on 50 contracts. I was talking about the numbers game, 50, 1, 0. And I said, well, what was the difference between bid 1 and bid 50? And he said, nothing. He did them all the same. He apparently didn't learn anything along his journey, and he just wasted a whole year of his time. Bid 50 should definitely be way, way better than bid number 1. And then resourcefulness, when things happen that are out of what's expected, how are we going to handle that? And how do we critically solve problems? How do we overcome challenges that we don't plan on? Okay, so these are questions to get you thinking. I know some people are just wanted the answer, and we're not done yet. I still am going to give you one more thing here that I told you what I think you should do. But this is really to get you thinking, and this is to help you. It may not be what you want to hear, but it is what will help you. And for those who've jumped off the video or whatever, they're going to be stuck at like, oh, I'll just do products because products is easy. Okay, but then when something happens with the distribution or the supply chain, or they're not able to come up with the financing because it's a big order or whatever, there's pros and cons to everything. And others, supplies can work great, and it can be a great way to get started. It just totally depends on answers to these questions, right? Staffing, janitorial, construction, environmental. It depends on you, the answers on the inside. So again, my answer, I will now reveal it. What should you sell? What you should sell is in this area of overlap. And we have these two circles, these two markets, these two pies. First one is what the government buys, and preferably a lot. So this circle represents the government's buying a lot of this thing, or I'll say service. And this other circle is the sub is supplying a lot of this thing or this service. So where the government buys and the sub supplies, if you're going to be doing legal middlemaning, and don't forget you can get the book, legalmiddleman.com/book, 200 pages, written by yours truly, great feedback on the book. This is what you should be selling. Because if you can answer favorably to these, 8 questions we just went through, phone skills, managing people, resilience, professionalism, right? Write them down. If you can answer favorable to those things, those are the skills that you need. Maybe you didn't realize it. This is why hopefully you didn't skip off. If you didn't realize it, these are all the things required to legal middleman contracts. And that's what's important. Okay? It's not the industry, it's not the flavor, it's what you have capable within inside of you, right? And when you look at these skills, what is it? How many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of them, right? Resourcefulness, your needs, our mission. We're going to figure it out, right? When you look at that, you realize, if you can get to this point, you will realize it's not about the specific industry. Okay, and that's why I talk about it in the book too, but the umbrella strategy, right? Like it's not just one industry or one specific thing. It's not that, and it's never been that. The government's more mission focused, right, than they are service focused. They have a lot of things needed to make the mission work. So with that being said, now government buys, sub supplies. It's less about the industry and it's more about the deal. Okay, it's more about the deal. Take a real estate agent, right? We can all relate. We all know somebody. Say the real estate agent has $1 million house for sale. If they sell it, they're going to make a good commission. Then they have this other house. Say it's $200,000. Say it's $300,000. We're in the market that we're in. So $1,300,000. The real estate agent will make, right, only like a third of what they will make on this other smaller deal. So we have 2 deals, $1,300,000. Could somebody say, like, what deal is better based on that information only? Like, which one's better? And a lot of folks would be tempted to say, oh, the $1 million one, because it's 3 times. So it would be 3 times the payout. But what if the customer, let's say the homeowner, and it's say they're both listing agents, the homeowner for the $1 million deal, they want way over asking. Okay, they did the market analysis, they ran the comps, and they want way over what's asking. And then the second deal, that's for $300,000. They're like right where they should be with the comps. Okay, they're just looking for what's fair market value for the house. Now, which deal becomes better? Okay, which deal is going to move faster? What deal is the real estate agent going to be able to spend less time on and get paid faster, right? So these words like should and better, they highly depend. So when we're looking at government contracting, we're on sam.gov, we're looking at opportunities, or we're looking at SBA size standard table, we're looking at all these different NAICS codes, or we're looking at a capability statement. Like, what should I do? So you can see you're the only one that can answer these questions. And the answers are very, very important, and they are answers that you will discover. But what I'm giving you is, if you stick in this long enough, you will find out. It's not about the opportunity. It's not even about one particular industry. It's about the deal. And when we come back to the deal, we look at those things: phone skills, managing people, resilience, professionalism, because those are the skill sets that you're going to need to be able to do these deals, right? If you're not professional, how many deals are you going to be doing? Right? If you're not persistent and resilient, and subs are telling you no, or you can't find them, then what are you going to do? The deals aren't going to work, right? And then furthermore, when we actually look at the deal, like, okay, is this something where we're getting able to get multiple quotes on? We're finding subs, local subs, or is it just like we're looking at one sub and they're like 2 hours away, so they're going to be super expensive to come and say it's a janitorial contract and clean 3 or 4 days a week? And that's going to, boost up the pricing in our offer in a bad way, not boost, but inflate our pricing. So we're not going to be cost competitive, right? Is that a good deal, or is that not a good deal? And then can you use that time to look at other things, opportunity cost, that maybe are much better deals? So being able to do those bid, no bid decisions, right? These are all things that tie into our skill sets with systems thinking, like I mentioned with our 8 that we went over today. This is what you should do. And following this, you'll be able to get paid because you'll be selling something that the government buys, and you'll be able to fulfill something because there's a lot of subs that are supplying it. How do you know what this area is? You start looking. You do your research. You look in the search results. Here, you look at the search results on SAM. Here, you look on the search results on Google Maps. That's the simplest way to do it. If you want to get fancy software or whatever, you can find. That's up to you. But the basic proof of concept exercise, I even teach this in our masterclass. A lot of you have gone through that. Amazing information, GovKidMethod.com. You can check out the masterclass there if you're not in it. But you do the proof of concept exercise, and then that tells you whether you're in that area or whether you're outside of that area. And why would you want to be outside the area? You're just going to be wasting your time. And then it's like there's no silver bullet, right? Like, we've made one step on our journey. We said 18 minutes ago at the beginning of this video, we've made one step. So now you have to take additional steps. But coming back to our original question, what should I sell? Now we have more clarity. We have questions, we have skill sets, we have the right expectations. We know we're looking at the deal. This gets us a lot closer along the line. And I've designed this video this way to not give you an exact answer, because I've already, at the very beginning, I told you, okay, janitorial, environmental, construction, staffing, is that what you want? Go do products. Like, fine, but it's not going to necessarily be what's right for you. These are the markers, these are the signs on your journey that you need to pay attention to, and you can implement these and it will get you to the answer. And here's the thing, there's no static, finite place in our mental thing. Like, we're thinking of it all wrong if we're thinking of it that way, right? That's why it's a very beginner-based question, because let me ask you this. Is what we should sell, could that change over time? Could our business evolve over time? Could our business grow over time? Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. Otherwise, you're not in business. You're either growing or you're dying, right? So that just obliterates this concept of looking at this question of it just being one finite right answer. For us, it just doesn't exist that way. like I said, the answer to this question is on a different level than the actual question itself. We have to go through this. So hopefully kind of going through this has at least stemmed one or two ways of looking at this, thoughts in your mind. I certainly want to hear your questions or thoughts or comments on this. Maybe this helped you. Let me know down below in the comments. And again, we go into a lot more of this stuff in our book, Legal Middleman Method. It's not just about legal middlemaning. You just have to get it. You can actually look at the table of contents on the website if you want to see if it's a fit for you, but it's not just about legal middlemaning. We break down the 5 phases of a bid. We break down like implementation of contract award and management. Like there's something in it for everybody. And I highly recommend it because we've gotten so much great feedback on it. So legalmiddleman.com/book, read through the table of contents yourself. And I think we'll go ahead and end it here. I hope this was helpful. I don't want to throw too much at you. I know that it was a little bit of playing possum with the answer, but at least it seemed like it was. Hopefully you see that that's not what I was doing. Hopefully you see what the intention was, which is kind of taking you through some of these guideposts to help to discover this answer for yourself and to let you know that there is no finite answer at the end, because your business should be growing, changing, evolving at the end anyways. So it's about finding what is that right next step for you, and that's all that we can do. We cannot just pre-plan our whole journey. We cannot have all of our ducks in a row, guys. That is not real life. We just have to get started. We have to take our next step, and hopefully this helps you to do that. So hope this helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.